This is City TV.
Good evening. I'm Gord Martineau. We want to be with you in a very special way tonight to celebrate the life of Mark Dailey, a beloved City TV co-worker and quite simply a Toronto News legend. Many of you know that Mark had been battling cancer. Today, we lost him to cancer. Our thoughts and prayers with his wife Kim, his daughter Nicole, son-in-law Matt, sisters Colleen and Kathy, and his parents John and Rose Marie back in Ohio. Mark was only 57, a cruelly young age for anyone to be taken. As you can imagine, his death has hit us at City TV and Rogers very hard. But we also know that Mark touched the lives of many of you over the years, and we invite you now to join us in remembering Mark's very special qualities and in honoring his most remarkable career.
Good afternoon. I'm Mark Dailey, live from our new home on Queen Street West, making news this hour.
To City News viewers, he was the voice.
This is City TV, everywhere.
To our City TV family, Mark Dailey was colleague, friend, brother, a rock of the newsroom, and quite simply, one of a kind. Born in Youngstown, Ohio on August 1st, 1953, Mark was a born broadcaster, if ever there was one. A wunderkind blessed with a commanding voice and uncommon news savvy. Mark developed the crisp delivery and witty, gutsy writing style that would become his trademark.
City Pulse News.
In 1979, after his stint at Chum Radio, Mark arrived at City TV, a lanky, streetwise rookie reporter who fit right in with the station's groundbreaking approach to news gathering.
I think there's a spirit and a drive here I've never seen before. People striving for individual goals as well as collective goals, what we're trying to do. And I think you have very unique personalities all together doing that. No matter how rough things get and how bad things get, the product is still there, and I think the product is very consistent. And it's different than what anybody else in town is doing. I think we feel closer to the people. I think the people feel closer to us.
Back then, the glasses technology was a little different, so I had these things, I used to call them bus windshields. I had these big, thick glasses, and I was a really skinny guy, skinnier than I am now back then. I think I've gotten better looking as I got older. If you look at my high school pictures, I was a real geek, and I was still about a half a geek when I got here.
Mark Dailey for City Pulse. The young lad was able to tell police that he came to the Queen Street Mental Health Center here at Queen and Ossington.
It didn't take Mark long to find his niche on the police beat, quickly earning the respect of news colleagues and forging lifelong friendships with many in the law enforcement community, from beat cops to police chiefs.
Through our own investigation, we know that the motive had something to do with a dispute with one of the tenants of this building. The 19-year-old victim got off the Markham Road bus here at Markham and Brimmorton, just south of Ellesmere.
Mark's nickname was the Inspector, a moniker he always wore with pride. At countless crime scenes, there was Mark, sporting his omnipresent fedora.
There was quite a bit of blood at the scene, and they've admitted there is a man believed to be middle-aged with serious head injuries. There's been some evidence that this could have been some kind of tragic drug misadventure. This woman was well known to police in the area.
One tragedy in particular haunted him even years later, the fatal shooting in 1980 of Constable Michael Sweet. Mark Dailey, first reporter on the scene.
The story that sticks in my mind the most is it was the Michael Sweet shooting. He was a police officer who was killed during a robbery in progress. One of the few times I sat and watched my story on the news that night and started to cry because it just so much of it was wrong and it didn't have to happen, and this young father of three didn't have to die.
No question, Mark was our go-to guy for the big stories. And we begin live with Mark Dailey in storm-battered York region. Mark?
Well, Gordon, whole communities were ravaged, homes damaged, power outages everywhere. The GTA won't soon forget this evening.
No one was better giving live breaking news, gathering the facts in a snap and giving them to you straight, unflappable on the fly.
Breaking news from the streets tonight. One man fighting for his life in hospital after a home invasion stabbing in the East End.
Good evening.
Mark was equally brilliant in his other big role as the longtime anchor of our late-night news, showcasing his unparalleled presentation skills and frequently his quirky sense of humor, both on the air and behind the scenes.
They're shooting some B-roll up here, dancing earlier.
Stay with City TV as we take you away from all this regular programming stuff to show you what television really can be. Oh, I'm sorry, I was reading the wrong copy. Late great movies are next.
The voice of City TV was sort of born in 1983. So whoever was doing it at the time was going on vacation. They said, you know, Mark, do you want to do it? And I was really busy. I was working 12 hours on the crime beat. I just treated it as just made fun of the shows and, you know, made fun of the people and just my sort of mock heroic, insulting, witty humor that still exists, I guess. Just figuring, you know, like, they aren't going to want me to do this for too long.
You're about to enter the vast world of late great movies. Big deal, right? Tonight we're repeating a movie we had about a month ago because we feel like it, and I like it.
The other guy never came back from holidays, and I've been doing it ever since. Good morning, everybody.
Mark endeared himself to Toronto in many other ways. Always approachable and deeply generous, he unselfishly threw his solid professional reputation and respected name behind many charities and worthy causes.
It's great to do what we do in our business because we meet people and we can use our profile to make good things happen for good people and good organizations.
Giving his time without hesitation.
Very honored to introduce Mark Dailey to accept our local award.
And accepting accolades with gratitude and humility.
It's really by the grace and the good deeds of the men and women of the Toronto Police Service that some of my best years and my best deeds happened. I just want to thank you very much for everything you've done for me and with me. And I'm still working, so we ain't done yet. Thank you very much.
Members of this club started this. This is the 5th annual. They've raised more than $350,000 for Prostate Cancer Canada. So you know why I'm here.
That's the mark I know. Another day of fine Sunnybrook Cancer Center fashion.
And Mark bravely shared with Toronto some of his most personal struggles. In 2004, chronicling his own battle against prostate cancer.
There is a place for a sense of humor in all of this, but when I walked out of my urologist's office here in the Danforth on that day, I wasn't laughing. Quite upset, actually. He spent a lot of time with me explaining the options, gave me this book, told me to read it, come back with all of my questions in about 2 weeks. It was the beginning of a very confusing and emotional ride.
We'll never know how many lives Mark may have saved with his series of stories on City News and his constant message for all men to take care of their own health with regular checkups.
1 in 8 will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. That means at least one of you at each table will get the bad news someday.
Mark beat prostate cancer. Then last September, he announced he was facing another challenge.
I'd been having symptoms, weight loss, which the viewers noticed. A lot of them wrote in and wanted my weight loss, recipes, everything like that. And I was having some fatigue and some night sweats. Those symptoms fit into like 20 different things. So my doctor started testing, eliminating. Over a couple of weeks. In the 3rd week, we finally got CT scan, CAT scan done, and they found a tumor on my kidney, on my left kidney. And it's been there probably for a little while. The problem with kidney cancer is until you get symptoms, which could be for 20 other things, it's there and probably been there for a while. It's hard to detect unless you have a CT scan. So it's yet another cancer challenge for me. I'm going to see you in a few weeks down the road after my medical adventures. It's time to rest up. Thanks for all of your well wishers. We'll be in touch on City News in the next little while.
Mark fought hard, but the cancer spread. We'll always remember his courage in his final days. A Toronto News legend is gone. The voice, our voice, is now silent.